Hello, Commander Soupchi here with another tutorial video. Let's talk about planetary landing. As you approach the planet, you're going to notice that you get these two rings, a blue ring and an orange ring. The blue ring is where you'll start your approach, and I've found that you don't want to take it too steeply or go too fast because that can make it complicated toward the end. So what I like to do is I just like to cruise in here very slowly, approaching the planet. I'm going to try to land on the light side of this planet, but once you enter the blue ring, you'll notice that we're going to get a different HUD. And that is our planetary approach suite. You'll see I'm going to try to keep it above, at 600 meters. It's dropping quickly. Once I hit OC, it's going to put me into what's called orbital cruise mode. At this point, you don't want to get down into the red, that 60-degree mark. You want to keep it above that. That's a good, glide point for gliding in, and you just want to slowly take it down. You can actually take it a little bit deeper than this, but don't get any deeper than this 55 to 60 degrees here where it's in the red. That means you're coming in too steep and you'll have too much speed, and that will cause a problem. You'll want to glide in here very carefully, and then in just a moment you'll see DRP coming up over on the right hand side. I'll try to focus in on that so that you see it. Another thing you want to notice is the gravity of the planet. I'm at 0.03 G. That's a lightweight, low gravity planet. I have no problem landing on it, taking off on it. The higher gravity planets you want to be very careful with on landing on, and I'll have some more information on that. I'll try to land on one in the future. Once we get to that DRP, which is going to kick in very, very quickly, right around that 40, looks like it's going to be around 35 kilometers or something like that above the ground, we're going to drop out of orbital cruise. Now what I really think is going on here as we hit the dropping from orbital cruise mode is kind of giving the game a chance to kind of load the planet and load textures, and now we're into this glide mode where we just want to we can use this to kind of pick out our target area. I'm going to find something up on this blue plateau where I can land. I just want to drop down slowly until we get out of glide mode, and that'll tell us when our glide's complete. Now once the glide is complete, we'll have more control over our ship. We'll be able to actually boost. We'll be able to look around. We can fly. There's some gravity to contend with. There's no atmosphere, so no real atmospherics you have to worry about. But I can pretty much take this thing down as steeply as I want to at this point. I do want to watch my distance. Over on that right hand side, I'm at 2.5 kilometers right now. I don't want to start locating a nice flat area in which to land on, because that's going to become important as I get closer to the surface. Once you get 2 kilometers, you'll notice I get a little different. Now it's dropping me and showing me 1.6 kilometers and on down, and I just want to go ahead and make my way on down to the surface. I can do that quickly if I want to. Just want to make sure that it pull up. We don't want to impact the surface. I kind of like this nice blue little area right here. This kind of looks kind of cool. So I'm going to slow down right here, and in fact, once I find what I feel like might be a nice flat area, I'm going to go ahead and drop speed completely. Now I'm only 272 meters above the surface right now. I'll try to land right in here. So once I get down to this area here, I can actually drop speed. I can drop my landing gear, don't forget to do that, and I can begin to descend using the vertical thrust controls that are on my right stick. And those may be different from you based on. Now as I approach the terrain, notice the radar disk changes, and you can see the terrain sort of, and how it's possible that I'm not exactly on the flattest portion that I might want to be in, so I might want to move up here a little bit. And once I find a portion that's flat, I'll get this blue line telling me that alignment is okay, and then I can continue to descend. I like to do it pretty slowly. I don't want to damage my ship. 10 meters, 9 meters, 8 meters, until finally we're going to get touchdown. Once we get a nice flat area, it'll tell me that the ship is secured. If I want to take off again, I'll just hold my right stick up to launch. But that's a planetary approach in a nutshell. You just want to make sure you're not coming in too steeply during the orbital phase, and then also in the glide phase. Once you get out of the glide phase, you can pretty much just start flying kind of like you do in outer space until you get right above the ground, and then you want to get oriented, find a nice flat spot. put your landing gear out, and then descend, and it's pretty smooth and easy from there. At this point, you may want to get in your SRV and drive around, and I'll show you how to do that. You're going to want to look down, and I use head look to do that, although I think you can also hold X and press down, and you'll get a better view of it. And there you see we have our SRV Scarab. If I select that vehicle, then it's going to give me the opportunity at that point to deploy the vehicle, with the exception of the fact that I'm currently have that module disabled for fire group reasons. So I'll come over here and I'll activate that module. And then once it's activated, I can now it's not wanting to exit right now, so there we go. We'll exit out. Okay, now I should be able to deploy the vehicle, which is what I want to do. And once I've deployed the vehicle, we'll have another tutorial video about the controls of the vehicle coming out shortly. But I did want to talk to you about what you may want to do in terms of getting out here and driving around.
Low gravity warning. Handbrake is on.
So she gave me a low gravity warning, so that means I've just got to be careful about how crazy I drive out here, because you will fly up and around. Now, at this point, you know, a good thing to do is to just go ahead and dismiss your ship. It's just going to go up to orbit and be out of harm's way. And plus, that means you're not stuck in this location right here, waiting, you know, trying to find your way back to your ship. Wow, there he goes. That's my vulture taking off. Commander Hoopchi. I'm wondering how far it takes before I lose lock on him. There he goes. So, he's out of sight, out of mind, and now we're down here on the planet's surface, and we can explore and do what we want. We'll talk a little bit more about the SRV shortly, and controls and some things you may want to do in terms of adjusting those controls to make it a little bit more fun to drive. But hopefully that helped you in terms of getting accustomed, I don't think that's a word, accustomed to the planetary landings. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as we can. And remember, commanders, always fly safely.